Welcome to a live stream. Takes a little bit for these to kick in. Little Saturday night live stream on my end. I'm going to talk about the forecasts for the 27th to the 3rd. Is that what I'm doing here? Is that what's happening? That's what's happening. So as I wait for some people to come in, I gotta put myself in the Virgo mood because we're in Virgo moon right now. I hope all of you doing okay after a big Mercury retrograde week, a huge new moon. Pluto happens to be around. So, yeah, you know, just life, that's all, right? Just a synth patch and a microphone and a camera. And Athena guiding me with my pal over here. I want to welcome anybody that's new and finding this channel. Whether you found me in the last month with some of the videos I made, or you're finding me here, this live stream is popping up on your feed on a Saturday night or Sunday morning, wherever you are. My name is Nicolas Polymenakos. I'm Sparkles of Gold, and I'm an astrologer. I used to be a photographer years ago, a restaurateur. What else have I been? I used to pull conduit underneath houses. That was hardcore. Hard work, that stuff is. But I'm an astrologer now, and I am a human being that's seeking, always trying to understand. Always, it's about meaning. Then you have to understand when to not even seek and let things come to you. And I'm in one of those places tonight. It's very, I guess it's some Virgo-ish. Not in the Virgo moon of like having to pay attention to all the details type of thing, and more about the rituals that Virgo creates and concocts, and adheres itself to as a ritual. So that's the mood I'm in tonight while I make this. I'll say hi to everybody in chat. I see y'all popping in over here. Thanks for showing up. My Patreon members, paid members, and my YouTube paid members got a little update from me earlier today. I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the stream, about some plans, some changes that are coming this way on this channel. First, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Let me know in chat how I sound here. I got a different mic set up tonight. I'm testing. Virgo moon testing, Mercury retrograde testing. And yeah, seems like a pretty chill week coming up, but there's some important dates and things to take note of. So let's do this. Moonstone Flower Beams, welcome to the live stream and thanks for being here. Nadia, this is a channel member. Hello, Sam Kelly. Hello to you. Again, today. Again. And then GME, hi. Let's see if I could recreate the emoji symbols that are on the screen. I feel like my camera's hot, my lighting's hot tonight, but it's whatever. Tara. KP1231. Yelena, good evening to you. Laura Fisher, hey, yay, Virgo moon, that's me, that's you. That's you. For any other Virgo moons out there, or people with Virgo placements. So, yeah, Please tell me your life is boring, please. I don't think it is. If it is not boring, I know it's hiding or analyzing. And can you take on the Hermit card? You know, I would take on the Hermit card if I were you. And with this Virgo moon, I think it's a good way to do it for those in the tarot. Just kind of hide out. You're in your little cave, your lab. You're doing your thing. Your meditation. You're meditating. You're letting go, putting stuff on the altar. You know, it's a type of thing that's, remember, Virgo does that stuff too. It's not just about like pointing out what is not working or wrong, and when they're off balance, this hypercriticalness towards themselves and the world. It's not about that tonight. It's not about that. We want to not make it about that, considering that is the flavor, I think, in the Virgo world, depending in what part of the chart it is. Hi, Laura Fisher. Lucifer, hello. Good to have you here along. Let me catch up. This is not making any sense. Astro Stephanie, peace to you, along with Kiara. Hello. Sounds good. That's good. Scorpio Muse, another channel member. Cheers to you. I wish I could do the scorpion symbol, like walk around like that, but I can't do the emoji. Patrick, Carrick, what's up, partner? What's up? Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Coming up next year, bro. 2 big conferences next year, brother. Got a lot of work ahead. Good to see you, Patrick. Mani, another channel member. All right. And Yelena, when are you not testing? Life is a test. Laura Fisher says, I do love the Hermit card. It's a good mode to be in. Yeah. You got to remember, though, not get stuck in that place. You got to step out. I think the transits this past week, you know, I think if a Virgo was choosing to step out, they had to because of a Venus-Mars square that happened between Mars in Virgo and Venus in Gemini. So that was something that had to be dealt with. Even if you were hiding out, I don't think there was hiding from. So that was last week. And when the moon went into Gemini, I think really the retrograde triggered off. So like Sunday to Monday, Alaska Airlines had a massive outage. They had to ground every single plane. I saw Tesla or whatever, Elon, whatever his name is, and his internet went down. There was a bunch of things that happened earlier in this week on the technical end. I could say in personal, like the lighting I have here right now, I can control it from my phone. It wasn't working for my meetings. I forgot to press record on something earlier this week. All this stuff, it was there, and I think it still is there. You had a Gemini moon with Uranus and Gemini and Mercury retrograde, then Venus and Mars squaring, and it's still there. That Venus-Mars square is still happening. And then we went right in to a Plutonian new moon in Leo. So here we are at the Virgo moon. And let us just jump right into like what I'm thinking about this, because here's the chart. I'll do the chart for now. Let me get this up here. We see the Virgo moon at 1 degree right here. There's Mercury at 12 degrees. It's still moving back. Players, Mercury the player, the trickster, the half and halfer, the androgynous one, however, whenever, is moving towards a big part of the Mercury retrograde this week and is part of this Virgo moon for 2.5 days. So we could see Virgo moon at 1 degree, and we know it's going to creep up on here and do a conjunction with the South Node and a conjunction with Mars. So this story does not end. And let us take note of the particular degree here that Mars in Virgo is in. It's at 23 degrees. Why? As we say in this channel, why? The why is, let us take a look at March 14th, 2025, the eclipse that happened earlier this year. That happened. You could see the chart on the outside. I'm using Astro Gold, by the way, from the Macintosh. I don't know what the hell I would do without this program. It's an incredible program. They just had a massive update. I love it. So there it is right here. This is March 13th, 2025, when we had one of these eclipses started to kick in the Virgo Pisces axis. And here you see the full moon that happened in Virgo March 13th. And you see, on the other end, as we are going to remember here, that Saturn was conjunct the sun when this lunation happened at 22 degrees. There's the node. There's Neptune there, right? We had a Venus retrograde. Mars just coming out not too long, but there in February, whenever it was, coming out of retrograde motion, part and aspecting this particular eclipse that happened. You see that? You feel that? So look at Mercury was stationing. It was stationing at 9 degrees. Remember, it was a big thing because one of the eclipses was at 8 and 9 degrees. The other eclipse is part of this in the springtime. We went back there, right? But let's point out where Mars is today. And here we are. As I do this, here we are. We're back here. And there it is. And the moon's going to hit this place. The moon entered Virgo here at 1:55 p.m. today Pacific, where I am. It's going to square Uranus here. It already did actually today. There's the moon squaring another mercurial placement right here, and that happens. So we got a total Mercury retrograde in effect here. We're seeing it this weekend, and then we get into tomorrow on the 20th. Excuse me, the 27th, where we pretty much do not have any aspects happening except the moon. I'll move up a day here. Okay, let's just do this. That the moon makes a connection to Jupiter earlier in the day. There's at 14, but you see Jupiter, a water-earth connection that happens there with the moon. Pretty good. That's good. We need this within the mercurial weirdness. We'll take it. That's the only aspect that happens at 9:56 a.m. Pacific. That's where it's at. And then when we get into the 28th, I'm already jumping in. It's going to be a fast stream. Here it is on the 28th. We're going to start to see some stuff happen. And basically, I'm going to make this exact. I'm going to make it as exact as I can before I do something here. We're going to go all the way. I'm going to pick here. I'm going to pick 2 in the morning-ish. And I'm going to find the moon here. You could see the conjunction that officially happens at 1:30 a.m. Pacific on the 28th. We have moon conjunct the south node opposite the north node in Pisces to add another chapter in the eclipse story, which we are building up towards the end of August. I'll get into that here in a second. And then the moon's going to make a couple other aspects. It's going to make this conjunction to Mars here at pretty much 11:42 a.m. Right? We'll just go right there. We'll just pick this spot right there. And you could see Moon-Mars conjunction here, which is pretty much going over last week's South Node Moon conjunction or South Node Mars conjunction in Virgo. So we're a week after that particular aspect. Here we are. I have a feeling here that the type of stuff that happens with Mars South Node has been in play this week. It just happened through the Mercury retrograde and through the Mars and Venus square that happened in mutable signs, Gemini and Virgo. It continues into this weekend and into Monday and Tuesday for some other people. This is a big point for how I started the stream for you Virgo peeps, mutable peeps, Pisces people, Virgo people, massive Virgo placements. I have a rant in me right now, and I don't necessarily want to jump in per se right now. It's not a ranting day for me, but it is I must do something at the live chat thing for me because I can't see it right now. Speaking of Mercury retrograde stuff, let me hit it up here so I could see again where I'm at. Okay, so there's this. So saying that is what's happening on Monday. We get into that. Venus in Gemini will do a sextile to Chiron if you're keeping track of that story at 27 degrees, and there's Venus. There's a sextile happening there. Hey, Venus got something to say to Mars and Chiron, and they're both magicians in themselves. Chiron is, and Mercury is, it rules as. There's something here that's expressed for good measure. And I think Venus and Gemini gets a bad rap, by the way, for relating that they don't listen. I think they do listen when a Gemini is balanced and they have mercurial placements like me, Mercury and Gemini or Venus and Gemini. Communication is listening too, by the way. So let me just point this out for the future. that whenever somebody's dissing on Geminis, I don't blame them. We can diss on any sign and find out when they're out of balance. But when they are flowing, Geminis can listen too. If they're high level, that's about that. As a matter of fact, any good dialed in Gemini will tell you that the biggest information pieces, the connection to the universe through their senses, is when they're listening, not just to people, but to the world. They're listening to every little thing that's coming through. And so here, I think Venus in Gemini gives a little bit of a listen to Chiron and Aries, because it needs it. It always needs it. But Chiron and Aries has too much knowledge now of how to deal with the Aries archetype and what it's done over this huge Chiron placement that's happening. And in one way, for those who have Aries placements and are dealing with the beginning of a Saturn and Neptune transit here, like the hint of it, we take any other planet that comes in to help. And I think Chiron is there to help you. Chiron's going to go retrograde this week on the 30th. I'll just show that later when I go through the charts. That, again, if you have placements that are exact for you where Chiron is, or you're in Aries, then you should pay attention to Chiron transits. Anybody else, it might not seem like anything, but we're being specific here. So that Venus sextile aspect with Chiron happens, and then the moon will square Venus at the very end of when it's going out of 27 degrees. See, the moon's here at 24. It's already waxing square to Venus. Very interesting, which means it's got some weird connection here. They're not seeing each other. We can call it quincunx connection right here. And there's a little bit of a blind spot. I think they could figure it out, hopefully. We don't want Virgo energy and Mercury right now and Leo to be saying too much word salad, basically, and feeling like they have to express and prove themselves because of a stubborn amount of pride that can happen in Mercury and Leo when it's off kilter. But hey, we got to give Leos a little break here on this stream because of a Plutonian thing that's happened here the last several days. Now, as we look at this chart on Monday, we pretty much have a crescent moon rising where the new moon really starts to kick in, like what was seeded there. So it's more Mercury for the Leos even here, and for the moon being with Mars south node and squaring Venus here on Monday into Tuesday. Sensitive areas for my mutable people, Aries, and for Leo. Okay, we will basically then at that night at 10:43 p.m. I'll move here before I jump in the chat really quick because I got to acknowledge that's what I do. We will go to all the way, I'll pick 11 p.m. my time on Monday, the p.m., and you will see the moon goes into Libra here, and it's all Venus-y ruled with Venus and Gemini here. So we know we're going to have a trine happen. That's pretty good, but this Virgo moon this weekend, like I said, if it affects you, be the hermits, I think, and have your tea and take your bath, read your book. I think it's time for my rant. I think I do say a Virgo rant. I think I do. I think I do. Now, when I say rant, it seems like I might come across forceful. But that's not what this is. I think here it's about the load. You've been carrying the load. Can you stop carrying the load? I'm not getting on you. I'm just saying, like, the tendency to do the work, to carry the load, to take responsibility, to adhere to fix, to pinpoint the load. And the way this world works, sometimes we'll do anything to keep the load going. Or on an extreme end, there are some things for us to kind of ponder and look at, and we'll find ways to distract us from something. You're swiping, whatever it is of how your mind function is happening and what you're doing with it, like your interaction with the universe. So for me, in a retrograde like this and having Mars being in your sign, it's going to leave here soon, and go into Libra, and you're going to get some relief, but it's pretty brief, to be honest. And, we're going to have, in less than 30 days here, we're going to have a 0 degree new moon that happens in Virgo to kick off a more than a month of eclipses and lunations in your sign and dealing with Pisces stuff. But the Virgos, you get a little bit of a break once Mars goes out. But know that that new moon at 0, and then 30 days later is going to be 29-degree, lunation too, an eclipse at 29 degrees Virgo, and in between a Pisces full moon, that you're really going into the space now, and you've, in a sense, have had a Mars and Virgo transit to more than prep you on this. I think it's been more of like confronting. And if you talk to somebody who has major Virgo placements and you were to catch them out of a place where they were, let's say, depressed or in a place that was difficult, and you were to catch them afterwards, hopefully it's the next day, but it's a year later or something, and you talk to them, and they were honest with you about their process and what they had to do through that process, if there was one, or they had to eliminate a process that they would usually use, or find one, come to find something else. I think one of the things you'll hear are variations of the themes of carrying the load. So it could be at work, it could be in places, it could be the expectations one has put on themselves. Whatever it is, the mind's doing its thing. And I feel with these eclipses here this year and next year, Virgo, in the Virgo parts of your chart, is to understand what part of the load to let go of. You don't want to be too extreme. And I think there has been some extremity here while Mars has been in Virgo in this transit. So, sometimes the pinpointedness and the razor sharpness of Mercury, and then what Virgo can do with finding things that are not working anymore and eliminating it. Sometimes if it's based out of a emotional reaction, a instinctual reaction that's impulsive, and with a story that comes from a long time ago, maybe we've cut too much off in fear of something, or because it's survival. That's another version of this story, the type of load that one is doing. So this isn't necessarily a rant. It's more of a reminder, and me trying to say to you that I can understand the best way possible. And, you don't have to be alone in it either. Like, maybe you're watching this, you're a stranger, and you're like, who is this dude? And I'm just saying, I see you and I hear you. I might not know everything or all the details, but I know the storyline. I know it's there. And I wish I could listen to you if you were willing to say something. That's why people get readings with me in sessions and stuff, or, whatever. So I just want to acknowledge that. So it's not really a rant. It's just a mercurial Virgo thing, since we're in Virgo moon. And we're back to the forecast. Randy J, good to see you here in chat. Love you too, my friend. And CB's here. Do you like to make a video solely on yachts one day? I can't find any useful information about this. I'm not a yacht person, so I'm not going to make the video, but I could once I get into it. It's on the list of things. Rick Levine's a person to look into for yachts. There's a couple books on yachts out there. There's a couple other people, I think, on YouTube that have talked about it if you search for it, but Rick knows about yachts and other interesting aspects there. I'm just being real with you there. But thanks for being here, CB. So saying that, let's go into the 29th here. We'll go by the hour. We'll just go in the middle of the night here, my time. And we could see the moon starts to do its air thing at 1 degree. There is the trine with Uranus. Hooray. Right on. Yeah, right on. Social business. I dig it. I dig it here. We take it. It's get super brief, but however, we'll take it. Moon will be then, as is everything that's going to be hitting here until, recently here, you see moons doing this, but really it's moon opposite Saturn and Neptune. What would I do in this situation? I would go to Venus, not Mars. Mars ruling all this. Aries stuff, it's funky. I would go to Mars and Gemini and just keep things light, will ya? Keep things airy. So that's what happens. And then Moon will trine Pluto too. Right under that, we can clear this. Guys, see what happens at these early degree air and fire places? We're going to really start to do this next year for years. But anyway, you could see here that Pluto in Aquarius is at 2 degrees, and you can see the trine that's happening. Actually, why am I not saying this? We have a grand air trine that has really briefly here in air, but we do have Saturn and Neptune in the game. but we do have a grand air trine. Hooray for anybody with early degree air. And even fire, okay? Let's say that. Well, if you're Sag, I don't know. Well, yeah. Yeah, we'll say that. We'll say that. Other aspects happen. Mercury sextile. Moon, Mercury sextile. Moon square Jupiter that happens later. That's a cardinal square. You can basically see here's Moon, and then Jupiter, even though this isn't the right chart, it's right here when it gets to 11 degrees. You see the square. All right. Moon's doing a lot of work. We're gonna get into the next day, my next day, which is on the 30th, and I just got a song in my head. God, it just doesn't go away. I just do. I'll talk about it later if I remember. Yeah, let's pick this here. No. We're going to go further into the morning on the 30th. I'll pick right here, and you could see here that Chiron's going to go retrograde at 7:41 a.m. Pacific on July 30th, my time. We have a Chiron station here, and those with a 27-degree Aries, something close to that. Let's say if you got the moon around here in Aries, this is a toughie. This is a thing, and you're gonna have to. You got a journey ahead of you in the next so many months. But I just got to make note of it. I'm not gonna go deep on that. And then it's later on that night. It is later on that night, my time, at 8:57 p.m. I'll pick here. It's gonna go to 9. We have Venus leaving Gemini. I'm gonna miss it. At the same time, I have come to a high appreciation right now for any Cancer transit. You heard it here. I'm saying it. It's imprinted on the live stream. A high appreciation. I've learned so much ever since Jupiter went into Cancer and we had Mercury in Cancer happen in June. I can't even begin. I can't put it to words. And that's the best part of this for me. I actually can't put it into words. So it's my little private shell thing in the cave. I really like it. I'm around a lot of water a lot more. My dreams have been amazing and intense and everything. And my card pulls and I can't even, that's all I could say to it. I'm not going to tell the details because I can't put it in that place. There it is. Venus in Cancer, which is going to be an amazing run here for Venus in Cancer. It's not perfect, but as soon as this happens, it is basically interacting with Jupiter. And so we have weeks of this. And there's a lot of tough transits that happen in August. But the go-to place for the month of August is a Venus-Jupiter connection and conjunction that happens. And even when the exact day when it happens, when Venus starts moving away from Jupiter, it's still in play. Venus is going to start moving towards Jupiter here because it's going at a certain rate and speed. Wow. This is the oasis place. We're going to have to deal, when Mars goes into Libra, we're going to have to deal with a Mars-Saturn opposition in Aries, one of the tougher aspects for astrology in the year and for the world. But we have this place. Remember this. Remember these two planets. Don't underestimate this. There's a lot of people who do workings and rituals and whatever they're going to do. They have stuff planned here in the next couple weeks. Whatever it is for you, I'm 5 arrows, which is 5 points, pentagram. Anyway, doing sacred geometry here. I don't know where that came from. I'll look at chat in a second. That is the deal. So Venus will be in Cancer. Let me get this together here. All the way till, what am I doing here? August 25th. Basically, it's about a month and just in time for the lunations and the eclipse season to start. But saying that, that is what's happening. Moon ruled, moon affected. So we're going to pay attention to the moon, and we're going to pay attention to the lunations that are going to happen while Venus is in Cancer. One is going to happen basically, what's the first one after the one you see on the screen? I'm looking at my notes. It's August 9th. We have the full moon in Aquarius that happens at 16 degrees. This affects the Venus-Jupiter situation. It also affects those who were affected by the new moon here in Leo with the Pluto situation. Then you have, after that, the 22nd of August, you're going to have the new moon in Virgo. And it's just so funny. I can't remember. Actually, look it up. If that is the day and time Yes, Venus will still be in Cancer for that lunation. So that will feed into that particular new moon. I hope that makes sense. That's pretty good. Venus loves to harmonize. Our desires, like what we're wishing for a lot of times, sometimes is dealing with Venus and what we possibly could get and what we're kind of going for, and it's to make us happy. Happy leads to love. Love is everything. Venus wants to have that. It wants to do it wherever it is. Some places it's easier than others, right? So, Mani says Steve Judd just did one on a yacht. That makes sense. Thanks for saying that. Francis W. Thank you. Okay, you guys are taking care of it. Yeah, Frank Clifford's all about the yachts too. He might have helped publish a book on somebody else's book. Dex Patina, good to see you here in chat. Angela, thank you for a fabulous super chat here. I wish I had stars in my eyes, but I you could see them. They're always there. They're always sparkling. Even when I'm crying, my eyes are sparkling. So there's that. Wake Me From This says, finally, we're talking about Jupiter, Venus now. Yep, everyone's been waiting all year since the beginning of the year in the astrology world. Anybody talking about it? Come on, this is some of the juice, okay? And again, see people overhyping this. I don't think it deserves overhype to sell product maybe, but I don't think it. I think it is what it is. And it doesn't mean it's outward either. Remember what happened with the Cancer archetype. I think the initiation that starts from within, not exactly it's outwardly. A lot of times if we could feel good in our cave and at home, then we bring that when we walk out onto the world. So if you're looking to incorporate this into your world in the Cancer part of your chart, or your chart's aspected by something in this, think about that. Think about like, it starts at home. Home, harmonize Venus. Right? This tastes good. It makes me feel good. It's healthy. Be careful. That's another thing. Venus is going to go closer to Jupiter. Like, this tastes good. And then you're like, you're in the third pint of ice cream. You're pounding a pint of ice cream before you go to sleep every night. I mean, that can kind of happen because it gives one the sense of comfort and security. But then that brings something else up. Is it true comfort and security? Is it really ignoring something because of what we do in our emotional spaces of how to cope? So listen, yeah, it's pretty good transit here in aspect. But at the same time, you know me on this channel. I'm always going to look at the other side. You can go overboard with this one too. Or it could be we're relating on an emotional level with somebody and you kind of make the connection. But then it's like, keep going to that well, and that other person doesn't have that in them to do it. It doesn't have that emotional capacity at the moment to do it, and one is wanting to engage and go deeper in it. It started off well, but then it's too much, right? So again, depending on your chart, listen, I'm talking mostly level positive with this. I'm not super hyping it up. Just like to give you the other sides of this. Yeah, look to the Cancer part of your chart. Okay, so that's what's happening. One more thing I will say here is, I actually think this is a very creative aspect. And because when Venus and Jupiter are always involved in something, I think it does give, even if they're in signs they don't normally function as well, I still think it gives a bump. And I think inspiration, I would think, is the word with Jupiter and Venus getting together. It is hopeful. It can be. And if you're not going to lie to yourself and like, well, maybe you have to lie to yourself. Maybe some situation in your world is like you have to lie to yourself to make yourself feel better. I don't care. You do whatever you have to do. But a lot of times with something like this, it is inspirational. And if it comes through an emotional welling or feeling or the well, like if we're going to the well, a sacred well, and we were pulling the water up to shower ourselves or to use to cook or whatever, it's clean water. And if it was there and the basis of that was feeding life itself so life can grow, so one can mature. And I think on an emotional maturation level, we have a situation here where that can show itself. I think the story's long with Jupiter and Cancer because we have a retrograde coming up with Jupiter in November. Then it's going to station forward next year at 14 degrees in March. And then we still got to do this, right? But still, if we take the initiation thing about inspiration, creativity at the creative emotional well of ourselves and in our chart, we can find something great here. I believe this. I mean, I do. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's something with Venus and Jupiter. I mean, come on. So these days, we have to find something. We have to find the places, right, to balance the discombobulations in our world and in the outside world, right? One more thing I will say, you could see people when they're dealing with home and country and community, how they will double and triple down with this aspect too. So they will, like, it'll come across in kind words, possibly, whatever, but they might be a little stubborn about the past and memories and family and ancestry. I mean, maybe some of those things are detrimental and they might double and triple down on it here. It's just the container that it's coming in. We're paying attention to stuff like this, okay? So saying that, oh, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, let me get this on screen. Patrick's like the mutual reception for that. Yes. Ingress with the moon and Libra is interesting. Well said, Patrick. And great use of emojis. I have to say that. All right. So seriously, this is like a sentence. Only a Gemini would do this. So this is like a modern sentence. There's like the sentence and then the emojis in between, right? So it's not a pure emoji sentence. Anyway, Mani's throwing a super chat at me. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for the donation right there. Cheers to you, right in front of me here. Nestle says, Sparkles, thank you. Emoji, green heart. Our souls need some compensation for what's happening in the world. Yes, a little sweat. I wish I could conjure this on my face while I do this. I'm working on that, by the way. I found something that could possibly do weird shit like that. Down the line. And I permit myself to splurge. Go ahead. Splurge away, Nestle. Splurge away. Jupiter away. So Jupiter, Venus away. So thanks, Mani, for the super chat. I also want to say Angela. So anyway, that's my little quick thoughts about Venus and Cancer. I possibly could be talking about more in the coming weeks on this when I'm on the road making videos. I'm definitely going to talk about this. I have a feeling I have some surprises that deal with this too. So, all right, so let's keep going here. And with the weekly forecast, 8:57 p.m., Venus goes into Cancer. We're into the 31st, and we're going to kind of reference something here because I want to move the chart all the way until I see the moon go into Scorpio. And that is when we're going to have it here on my Thursday, the 31st. Moon goes into Scorpio 10:24 a.m. Pacific, and it will trine Venus not too long after that because of newly ingress Venus at 0. And here we are with the moon here with a trine. But take note. I'm going to get to this. I'll get to that. I was almost jumping ahead. We also have then we're going to get to one of the nitty gritty, probably I will say the aspect of the week. And then there's just 2 sub aspects that are going to happen here that I'm going to talk about after this one. And let's dial it up as best as possible here. As in, I already have it dialed up, it looks like. It is right here. And this happens at 4:41 p.m. Pacific on Thursday, July 31st. And for those in other parts of the world, on August 1st, we have a Mercury-Sun conjunction that happens here at 9 degrees. This is huge, very important part of the Mercury retrograde cycle, the midpoint of the cycle. I love this place. If you're going to do anything that you've been waiting on for the retrograde, it's this particular day with Mercury going through here. It's not the best, it's not the perfect, but it's better than nothing during a retrograde, especially after what's happened to this point and last week, when we go back from last week to this point with the week and a half. This is the spot. This is it. If it's an internal rebirth of Mercury, you're a Leo, and you have something like this here in your chart, the way you communicate, the way you express yourself, how you conjure that up from your creative places, this is part of the cycle in the retrograde for you. It's an internal process, and it's there for you to go burn through the sun where it belongs. There's an extra special affinity, obviously. The sun rules Leo here. Mercury just is always by the sun, doesn't go straight too far away, right? So here it is, man. It's just magic. This is the most dialed in sacred shit you can get. If you want it, it's there. Do it. I'm not telling you how to do it, but it's a big deal here, okay? And when we hit places later on, Mercury goes all the way back to 4 degrees and stations forward, and then we'll come through. Remember that 7, 8, 9 degree place here, because it's another insight. And let me say here, for those who were looking at the new moon here with Pluto on the opposite of the new moon, sun and moon at 2 degrees, that this is an important part of it too. Because I think Mercury brings messages, as always, whether it's to purposely fog your mind or mess with you, purposely trick you, play with you, make you see different sides, make you, it seems like mistakes, show us what's actually not working. So during the retrograde, we could see what is could be tweaked from a mercurial end, whether it's your computer or email, or somebody's putting out like their next update on their app, and they decided to do it like when Mercury stationed a week and a half before this, because they do shit like that. I sometimes I think that they hire astrologers that actually know, and they purposely do it because they know all the bugs will be shown, and you're just the guinea pigs to do it. So things go down, but then the programmer's like, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, now I know. Now I'm going to get it just right. So sometimes I think that. Other times they need to hire an astrologer because, yeah, whatever. My thoughts. But anyway, huge moment here. Mercury goes in the sun. There's a particular moment in time they call it Gazimi. It's sitting there for you. Biggest aspect of the week for me. Then there's going to be two more after this. Saying that. So, Patrick, granular dysfunctions are a terrible idea, Nick, even if you get to sweat on the reception to try and make it interesting. Yes, good one, Patrick. Patrick's dialed in tonight. So hi, 11T, welcome. And for anybody jumping in, you're new here, thanks. I'm Nicholas, Sparkles of Gold. I'm so happy you found me. I have an owl. I'm a nice person. I'm a great person. I have a lot of gifts, and I'm faulted, and I can be intensely emotional, and Pluto is my world. Now, I hope you stay and you hit the subscribe button. You hit the subscribe button after that. My intentions, even with everything, I always try to come from a good place, and I do that here on the channel. And I do it in other ways in the world. Welcome to the channel. All right, Mercury-Sun conjunction is happening here on 4:41 p.m. on the 31st. Yeah, let's go a day. Let's run up a day. And I'm noticing, have you noticed this new thing here on the chat? It's like there's these like number 3 crowns. So it's like more people comment, and it's like, oh, this person commented more, so the number 2. I didn't turn that on, by the way. That's just how it is right there. I didn't do that. That's just things that are YouTube is doing. And they're doing a couple other things coming up here soon. Regardless. Okay, so where the hell am I? We're on August 1st, and here we are on my Friday, and we're basically going to start hitting a moon in Scorpio square Mercury, then square the sun. We always pay attention to that. And then we have a Venus day. So on the West or United States time here in this zone, this is Friday Venus day, and an interesting one to say the least, because basically there's Venus at 2 degrees, and here we have, here, let me get it right, because it's 6 at, hold on a second. Let me put some music to this one. 6:34. That's my Mercury retrograde moment right there. Switching patches. 6:34 a.m. Venus will square Saturn. I'll get as close as possible here. And there it is. Venus here and Saturn right here, which means it's doing it with Neptune officially at 1:48 p.m. here. So we have a Venus Saturn situation and a Venus Neptune situation. If you have things at early degrees cardinal, this is one of the big points of the year in the chapter of a story or wherever it is in your chart. It actually kind of points to something earlier this year when we had the last eclipses in Aries and in Libra, and when the nodes finally left because they move in reverse degree order, like that point in time when we had 0 degree,
north node in Aries, south node in Libra, when earlier in the year when Neptune at 29 degrees went into 0 degrees Aries, when Saturn went into Aries like in May. This hits those points, right? If that is a storyline in your life. This will also be part of a storyline that has coming up here with Mars. Once it leaves and goes into Virgo and enters in that 0 cardinal point, will be there, and we will have this face-off that's going to happen with Saturn and Neptune. This is kind of a middle point in that story here, and it's a tough one for Venus and Cancer. So Venus and Cancer, pretty much, as soon as they come in, they're like, they see Jupiter. They see Jupiter in the distance, and they're like all about it. But they got to run through the Saturn-Neptune gauntlet before they do this. And there is a reality check that happens here, and it's a square, and it's challenging. Venus could be wanting to harmonize emotionally in what it's relating to. And Saturn is going to bring a little bit of a rule set and a grumpy reality check. But it's a spiritual thing in the end with Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. It's the deal. It's like how to do the quest and for the reasons why. We don't do it impulsively just to do it. If we're going to take the actions, we must realize the deeper consequences of what that is and what's fueling it. We always look to Mars, wherever Mars is, to fuel the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries situation now, and then we're back there next spring. But we pay attention to Mars here. I'm going to get to that in a second. But, here's Venus in there, right? So there is a deeper reason, a deeper rule set, a deeper thing that Saturn and Neptune are carrying here, and they're basically throwing it on the Venus, So it's sort of a little bit of raining on the Venus and Cancer parade, but it's good to do it now and have that imprinted while then it moves forward towards Jupiter and can still be light-headed, light-footed, still have that feeling of ascension and harmonization. Okay? So saying that, hey, Rebecca W., I see you in chat here. Welcome. So saying that is the aspects that's going to happen with Venus. If you are a Venus-Saturn person, this is a pretty big aspect for the week. You're a Venus-Neptunian person aspect. Hey, take a look at this. It's probably hitting your chart in some sort of way, like offshoot, For me, if you could turn a square around, that the challenge of what it is, make or break thing that happens is Venus is signing a contract here basically with Saturn and Neptune. It can come to a place and a compromise, I think, here with this. And it could be a good thing. Things can be built from Saturn-Venus connections, but they got to hash it out first. But something can be constructed down the line here, and Venus can carry that with them, So that's what happens here on Friday. And then when we get into Saturday, we're into a Sag Moon. Basically, I'll just go through here. I'm kind of into the forecast here. There's Saturday. Am I Sag Moon yet? Goodbye. Oh, let me just point something out. No, let me finish this first. And then here's Sag Moon on Saturday into Sunday, my time. The 26th, though, I will say there's going to be a Moon's going to square Uranus. No. Moon's going to square Uranus? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 27th. No. I'm making... What am I doing here? Yeah, Moon in Sag, 11 p.m. on August 2nd, my Saturday, right? And then I'm going to be done with this. I have to look at one more thing for the Tuesday, or for Sunday, and you'll see here the Moon in Sag is going to make a ton of aspects, basically. I have the 4th here. Let me go back this way. You'll see it right here, Moon in Sag. We're going to do a Moon-Uranus opposition. We're going to do fire trine to Saturn and Neptune. We're going to do a sextile to Pluto. We're going to do a trine to Mercury. Definitely need that. Where the hell is Mercury? Here at 7 degrees. And then we're going to do a trine to the Sun, the Leo Sun. Yeah, look at Sag Moon. It's going to pretty much hit everything. So that is what's happening there. And then we get to the end of the week. I will say here on the 6th, just to do it here for this stream. Let's do it. We will have, I will go by the hour. There it is. Mars goes into Libra here on the 6th. Basically here at 4:23 p.m. And then it's going to be on Friday the 8th where Mars is going to have these opposition that happens. Whew. It's no joke right there. That is no joke coming for planet Earth. And we also will have a Mars at the end of a Mars trine. Let's not forget that Mars will trine Uranus here. So those who have early degree air placements and fire, you got Mars coming your way for better or worse. Okay, so that's what's up. I won't go any further with this. Did a good job here today for an impromptu stream. Obviously, I have more to say here. So again, I want to thank my channel members. Thanks everybody for chatting it up here. For those on my paid Patreon members and the channel followers and my subscribers, please, if you haven't subscribed to this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, hit the all notifications, hit the like button. These little things help the algorithm for my thing. Okay, here's the deal. I'm leaving here very soon, disappearing for a little bit, and I'll be on the road. Probably be doing some content from the road and doing some uploads. My Patreon members, my paid members are going to get to see 3 more interviews that I did at NORWAC, the Northwest Astrological Conference. I'll be editing those and putting them up in the next several weeks. Yeah, there's that. And then the content that I'm going to do on the road. I'm definitely going to clear my brain on the road, and I have some retrograde things I need to do for myself, and I'm really excited for. I also want to thank my clients who in the last month booked with me, and a lot of interesting conversations and places, and they've been sending me their homework. And if you're one of these people that let's say you're watching, you're one of my clients, like I forgot to do my homework, send me the email. I'm going to read it. It's never too late to do the things we've talked about and to come to, because life does get in the way with scheduling. I never judge people on this stuff when I deal with clients at the level when we do, I don't know, homework. Some people might call it coaching. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know what the hell I am. I'm just Nicholas. But I do work with people, right? So I want to thank everybody where we've had a mutual ritualistic exchange. Thank you so much. And so saying that, hey, I see astrologer Mackenzie. By the way, go look at the channel banner on my YouTube page. Just go look at it. It changed. Up there. I'm going to thank somebody here in chat. Thank you, Mackenzie, for that one. An incredible creative person and astrologer. Nadia, yes, a bless to you here. And a couple more things. CB, yeah, thank you so much. A couple other things, important things. The model on my Patreon is going to change. I have planned in September. This is a huge deal for me, and it's going to be a lot for me to try to do. And it's going to be a kind of movement and a change that happens on this channel. I'm going to change, I think, the way I do the videos and the kinds of videos that are available for the public, and then the videos that I do for my Patreon members and my channel members. You're going to get more content. And what I'm probably going to do is do a monthly horoscope for each sign. It's a lot of work. I'm going to try to do this. That's going to be behind membership or to purchase. So that is the plan. It might take me a little bit to integrate it, but it's something that I think it's time for me to do and to challenge myself. And to be honest, the way things are working for me and the growth that I could have and that I'm working on this channel is to have different types of revenue streams to help me survive and to do this, so I don't have to do all these other side gigs that I'm doing down the line. That's just the reality of it. The more subscribers, the more people follow my videos. It's great. The types of videos I need to do to get more subscribers, if you go look, almost 3 weeks ago, I did a Uranus and Gemini video, all signs. I mean, it is what it is. But whenever you see astrologers do all signs videos, they're going to get a lot of people coming through to do it. So I have to work on those kinds of videos. And then I have more of a wide open view of the astrological energies for the month. And those are the types of things I might do for the publicly, but definitely behind the scenes for channel members and for those who want to purchase it. Now, during the retrograde here, while I'm gone, I have to figure out what is feasible to do this that matches my workout output. So it possibly could mean I get rid of my $3 tier on Patreon and it goes 5 to 10. And it possibly is I adjust the membership tier on here on YouTube to 2, where I keep it 5 and then one's a little bit more. Now, here's the reality with YouTube membership. They take 30% of it. So if it was $1, they're taking 30 cents. Then there's the tax person, whatever. I have to, I'm going through the motions here of understanding this. So it matches the output and what I'm worth. If I put the output in and I get in a groove every month where I'm doing 12 monthly horoscopes that are recorded, whether it's video or it's audio only, and a big monthly, and then I'm doing a Zoom calls with members in the back end, all this stuff, you see what I'm doing here. But at the same time, I can't just give it away. I can't. The stuff that I do give away publicly, I want to make better videos, whether they're book reviews on here, I have guests on here, right, which I have planned for the live streams and the call-in shows and all that stuff, right? So that is my reality. So if you're a channel member and one day you're going to see here in September, I'm altering the pay tiers, I can't apologize for that. I understand if you can't, participate, but there is more that will come with, with when we'll pay, even if I have to up it a little bit more. I'm done saying that, but I'm being real here, and so on and so forth. Hey, Mildred, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for that. I think I hit my goal here today on here too. Thank you, GME, for the best wishes on the road. Yes. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I know, and I don't know what's ahead of me here in the next month. And that's the way I like it. I like it that way. There's things that I know, and there's the things I don't know. There's the things that I'm afraid of, and those things I walk into, right? And it's the only way now. I mean, I've been living this. It's the only way to do it. And it's the only way to do this channel. And it's the only way to do everything for me that's connected to me. So that's what's up, all right? That's me. I'm going to be straight up with everybody on this channel always, right? I'm just going to do it. And, as I've said before, there's a theme to this channel. It has to do with compassion and love and empowerment. And sometimes it's hardcore on this channel. It's intense. But in the end, we're on our own journeys, and we're alone, and then we have to find the times where we connect as people and as community. Whether you're developing your own, or as the face-to-face, or whatever you do, or it's online, it means something more than ever these days, the placement we are in the world. And I think this is regardless of where you are in the world, because of the economics of the world, because of our environment in the world. Every day I'm by water. I'm walking. Today, I'll say this. Today I was by where I go, my rituals. There was somebody there with a bucket. And a and the thing those you carry that stick and you press the lever and it picks stuff up off the ground. And I was just like watching this person. They're in the rocks, at the beach, tide's out, and I'm like, they got a cap on and they had a bunch of tattoos. I'm like, hey. And then they kind of looked at me with a grumpy look, like, what? I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And they just said, oh, nothing, I'm like, no, not like, what are you picking up? Like, I see you doing this. And they look up at me like, I'm picking up metal and glass. I'm like, oh, I go, you're older than me. My eyesight's going. I don't know how you could look into that. And we started talking. And this person goes to the beach twice a week there, and they've been doing it for years. And they're just going up and cleaning up the beach. I mean, cleaning up glass that they see and sharp objects that are foreign, not of the beach. And they're like, I just like to keep it clean. I don't know, I just kind of my thing. I love this place, and it used to be a lot worse, but I'm always finding stuff. And, the first thing I said to them was like, hey, thank you for doing that. I'm here twice a day. I come down here. I've never seen you, but I have a feeling I'm going to run into you. And we introduced ourselves to each other. And we started talking a little bit. And then they started showing me stuff. They opened up on me. Look what I found today. And I go, yeah, do you find stuff, other things besides metal and glass? Because this river that we're on it has an industrial history, right, too. So you can imagine. So anyway, she showed me they showed me some jewel, whether it was fake or not. They were telling me crazy stuff that they find there too. But, the reason of why they did it is because, and again, it reminded me about our environment in the world. And they just, they're doing it by themselves. They're not like posting about it or like bragging about it. They just have love for the earth and love for the environment and what's happening. And there are millions of other people like this. There are millions of other people in the world, whether they're dealing with deforestation or they're dealing with the overheating of our oceans and the things that are happening there with the mammals and the beings in the oceans and everything and where we are. Because there's all this other stuff happening in the world, but then there's our environment, right? And it's something that's been coming to me like through my dreams this year, and especially as soon as, I don't know what the deal is, but as soon as Jupiter went into Cancer for me, it was just like, it just started happening. So again, I ran into this person, and then the wild thing is with their tattoos, and all their tattoos were based off a famous 80s cartoon that I used to watch. It was so random, but it wasn't. But I just smiled at this person, and then they smiled back because they have a grumpy demeanor. But when I looked at them, they smiled, and because I acknowledged, like, thank you for doing that. I go, I'm going to run into you again. Like, yeah, I'm around. I'm like, okay, man, I'll see you around, And here's this person truly maybe doing a Plutonian situation in the sign of Aquarius, actually. Not because it's the water, not the water barrier. It's the little things in the long run that contribute to the whole. And it's something to me that was imprinted in the new moon in Leo too, because Leo is about the self and the expression of self. But here's Pluto reminding that Leo, or incorporating like, hey, it is you and us, right? It's me and we. It's a thing of like someone does something, even if they were expressing on their own, but it always, if the intention and the energy behind it, if it's the conduit of life force that's moving through someone, and they are opening that up, their bodies themselves as a flower, and they put that into the world, regardless of what they do, with a pure love intention, natural life thing that feels good, gives one pleasure, and it's an expression of oneself, that automatically doing that contributes to the world and to the whole. So, if you were to take any way of looking at Pluto opposite stuff like this, like it was this week, that's a great way to look at it. And if it's a shadow thing that came up, is to incorporate it and to infuse it in the Leo part of your chart. And this is the thing that will happen for the next 20 years, with Pluto and Aquarius. And every time we have a lunation, every time there's a sun opposite Pluto moment in the year, next year when we do Jupiter and Leo for a year, and Pluto and Aquarius, Pluto-Jupiter oppositions, with eclipses that happen in Aquarius and Leo at the same time. So there is a thing about the self and the collective. And today, as the tide was slowly coming in, and I was sitting there doing my thing that I do, there was that stranger doing the thing they do, right? And no one sees it. I saw it. There's billions of people on this planet, but I am a representative of all those billions of people, and I had to say something to this person. And they thought I was maybe trying to come up to them for something else, right? But I had to say, hey, thank you. Like, thank you for doing that. And they were being modest, but I could see it inside. I could see the brightness, the smile, and being seen for this whatever thing that they're doing, right? And to me, that's everything. That's life. So wherever you are in a part of the world or whatever else, if you pay attention to around you and to people and the little things that they're doing, it is a revolutionary act. It means so much. It may not be dramatic. It's not on an effing reel or to get likes or to do any of that. There's people out there, and you're out there too. You wouldn't be watching this channel if you weren't feeling it, that you have a sense of self and a something for you to say in this world, to enact in this world. And if you think that no one sees it or it doesn't make a difference, I'm telling you that it does. Even if no one sees it, the world, the entity in the organic world sees it and feels it. As a matter of fact, I think it almost demands it from us, right? And it calls to us. And in return, when we're connected to nature, our quests and path, the existential questions we're asking ourselves, the hardships that we're enduring, whatever, we usually get insight, sometimes answers, sometimes just sweet relief, sometimes just peace through nature, through the world, right? So that's my mindset. And that's my mindset, going on a road here or doing on a channel, whatever I'm doing. But more than ever, it's calling to me too, right? So I appreciate you all listening to that. I want to thank everybody for watching today and doing a thing. I want to say hi to AV and chat, everybody who donated today and who supports the things. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great week, right? Take advantage of the Mercury Sun situation. Venus is going into Cancer. And on the next videos I'll do, we're definitely going to talk about Venus in Cancer and Jupiter situations. We're going to do it. I will say and leave you with a couple words here from a song that's been in my head. Okay? And if I could find this. No card today. It's going to be a song. It's going to be lyrics to a little bit of the song, okay? And I don't know. I think this comes from a Cancer sun, by the way, who wrote this song, who's written amazing, incredible songs. Mind you, we know Ozzy passed away this week and a bunch of people, musicians, all that. But earlier this week, I think it was early in the week, was the birthday of Chris Cornell. And this dude, I come from Seattle and the Seattle music scene. I was involved in it. I was a photographer in it all. I was involved in the music scene in many different levels and ways when I was younger. Anybody from Seattle that was from those times knows what I'm talking about, knows what happened in the late 80s to early 2000s in that city. It was a golden age of creativity before Amazon completely trashed the town. Okay, so basically it was my life. And a lot of my old friends' life and other people, it's just from painters to poets to musics to the whole world being focused on us, on the creativeness that was coming out of that city. Chris Cornell was one of those people from one of my favorite bands, Soundgarden, and all the other stuff he wrote. He was an incredible writer, a definitely dark, brooding, but uplifting Cancer sun. Maybe one of these days we'll do his chart on air. But there's a song here. He wrote later with Audioslave, and it's been in my world lately. And it's called, what's it called? It's called I Am the Highway, right? So if you go check it out, listen to it. But as always with his stuff, it's very poetic and complex. But I like these words. It says, I am not your rolling wheels. I am the highway. I'm not your carpet ride. I am the sky, right? And he's like, friends and liars don't wait for me because I'll get on all by myself. I put millions of miles under my heels and still too close to you I feel. And he says, I am not your rolling wheels. I am the highway. I'm not your carpet ride. I am the sky. I'm not your blowing wind. I am the lightning. I'm not your autumn moon. I am the night. And it goes on and on. By the way, if you go listen to this guy's lyrics, there's always moon references. It's full moon. It's autumn moon. Go listen to the song he wrote in the early 90s called Seasons. There's moon references in there. An incredible, incredible songwriter. He is missed. And that is the song that's been in my world. So you can go find that there on YouTube. It's called I Am the Highway. On that note, I want to appreciate everyone for what I'm supporting me and watching the channel today, okay? It's time for me to go, all right? Bye, everybody in chat, and bye, all new people and strangers and gawkers. And